Moodle course works for instructors. My name is Zane Barris. I'm going to walk you through this. So here I have on my screen a Moodle page for a school. This is St. Andrew's Episcopal Academy. It's a school that I work at. So assuming that you come to a Moodle page like this, the first thing you're going to want to do is log in to your account. Now, this blue login link is located at the upper right hand corner of the screen. It kind of blends in with the blue background on this page. With any other school background, I'm sure it would show up just fine. But you'll notice it's up here, it says login. And so I'm going to click that, and I'm going to log in to my school's Moodle. So when I log in, you'll notice it brings me back pretty much right to the page I just left, except now that I'm logged in, I have a lot more options available to me. So this is what a home page for a school might look like. It's got a list of all the available courses that students can log into a Moodle page for. And as teachers, what we can do is we can click this button over here that says My Courses, and I'm going to do that right now. And that's going to bring up just a page with the courses that a specific instructor is heading up. Okay, so you can see I've got some many courses in this class. I've even got some that are hidden down below. And so when I show all of my courses, you can see you can list your courses like that. Now, some of these courses have little messages under them that say you have assignments that need attention. And then these courses up on the upper half of the screen don't have that sign. What that basically means is that these courses are empty up here. These ones that need attention, that's just letting me know about due dates for upcoming assignments. Okay. So here's what I want to do first. I want to give you kind of a top-down approach. So we're going to go into a course that's already been built, and we'll take a look at just the features that I've put in place. So here's an anatomy and physiology course that I've put together. And you can see as you scroll through, you can display this just as a list of activities and pages that you want the students to visit. You can put pictures that you want the students to study. You can even put videos on here. So it's a very useful tool for keeping track of what the teacher wants to do on a specific day or in a unit. Okay. If it looks very busy to you as far as how much text is on the page, however you want to set this course up, Moodle has several ways to display content. I'm sure that you can find one that is best tailored to your teaching style. Okay, so this is just what a finished product might look like. But really, any teacher's page might look different than mine would. Okay, it just depends on the style and preferences of the instructor. So that's what we're going for. Now let's go to a blank course, and we'll play around with a clean slate. So I'm going to go to this Master Biology 1A at the top of the screen. You'll see when you click on a blank course, it's got a whole bunch of empty tiles there, and we can start playing around with these. Okay, so whenever you want to start changing things in the course, you always want to make sure you turn your editing on, and that turn editing on button is located right here in the upper right hand corner of the screen. Okay, let me make this window bigger so you can see a little bit better. Okay, so when I turn the editing on, you'll see a whole bunch more drop down boxes and little buttons appeared that will allow me to edit the content in a course. Okay, so the first thing you want to ask yourself while you're setting up your course is, how do I want this course to be organized? Do I want it organized according to topics like it is now? And topics, those could be synonymous with units or chapters in a textbook. Or if you want more of a structured chronology to your course, you can organize it by week. So I can do that by going over to the course administration drop down on the left side of the screen. My mouse is circling right now. And we can click on edit settings. And this is the main settings for your course. You can change the name of the course. You can select when the course will start. What I want to show you right now, if you go down to the course format drop down, you can change the format that the topics are listed in. So right now they're listed as topics. You can change that to a weekly format though, if you so desired. And if your semester at school is let's say 18 weeks, you can change how many weeks will show up. Okay. While you're on this page, the other great thing to do right away is change the files and upload settings. You can see right here, as soon as I opened up that little drop down, it says that the maximum upload size for teachers and students to submit materials is 2 megabytes, which is not very large at all. So I would go ahead and change that to the maximum available upload size, and then I'm going to hit save changes. This is going to take me back to the course. You can see now the topics are gone, and now I've got weeks listed. Okay. So now we've changed the format of the course to a more calendar-based system. What you might want to do next is change just the course description. You can put it in just by clicking under the general button. So once again, I'm going to go back and show you where that was. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. At this top pane, you'll see general with a little gear underneath it. The gear in Moodle means edit. Okay. So when we edit this, we're going to be able to type in the name of the course if we wanted to. And then right below that, in this box down here, we could type a course description. Okay, so if you've got a course description for a biology class, say, that says, in this semester we will be discussing cellular organization, energetics, cell division, etc., you could put that course summary right there. Okay. Now, once you're done entering anything into this page, you're going to save your changes by hitting that button, and it's going to bring you back, and all the edits you made are going to be there. Okay. So, just for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to just type in, let's call this biology, and we'll say this course will discuss cellular organization. Now, obviously, my course would probably talk about a lot more than just cellular organization. But when I hit Save Changes, you can see when I go back, now that General tab says what I wanted it to say. And you can do that for any of these little tiles. So you can change this August 28th to September 3rd week into an actual description of what's going to happen during that week. And that's very useful to kind of get the skeletal structure of your course set up. Now comes the fun stuff. Once you get your weeks or your topics titled and described the way that you want them, you can start to add activities and resources for students to be able to access. So let's say that I'm in August 28th to September 3rd, this week right here, and I want to add an assignment. Okay, now an assignment is probably the activity that you will most commonly select in Moodle. So over here to the right hand side of the screen, you'll see little options that say add a resource or add an activity. Okay, the add a resource, add activity button might look a little different on your Moodle account, depending on the way that your site administrator has set up the design of the course. But you can see here are my resources that I can add. We've got books, files, folders, labels, pages, URLs, and we've got the actual activities, and this is where the assignment option is located. You can see there's a lot of activities that you can add in to a Moodle course. And we're not going to go over all those today. I'm just going to go over the ones that I think you're probably going to use the most. So let's go ahead and click Add an Assignment. Okay. And you'll see once I click that button, it brings up a page that will allow me to edit what the assignment's name, description, and due date is. Okay, so let's say that I want to assign the students to build a model of an animal cell. So I'm going to call this assignment Animal Cell Model. And I'm going to say, please construct a model of a typical animal cell using household materials. Okay. You can make the description as simple or as complex as you want. Now this button down here, if you check this box, it will display your description or your instructions on the main Moodle page. Okay. I always like to click it just because it seems to fill things up more on the main page. You'll see right below this, we have the option to change the due date of the assignment. The due date automatically defaults to a week after the assignment is created. So you'll see today is September 28th. So the due date is by default set for September 4th. And so you can actually even set the actual time of day when something will be due. You can set time windows when the assignment will be accessible from. So things like that, all in this availability section. Okay. Down directly below that, you'll see there are settings that you can mess with for how assignments will be submitted. Okay, and actually, let me refresh this page, see if I can get more up. There we go. I was just missing a few things there. So you can see here, you can change how assignments are submitted. So if your student is submitting like a Word document, file submissions is already checked. That's the default. But if you just want students to answer a set of questions and they don't have like Microsoft Word, you can check the box that says online text and they can type their answers straight into Moodle. These other settings right here, GeoGebra, that's a geometry tool from online. If you're in a math class, students can submit OneNote pages, they can submit audio recordings, and this online POODLL, that is for video files. So a lot of different options for how students can submit materials to you. And you'll see you can set limits on what they can upload, how much they can upload, so things like that. I wouldn't mess with these options too much. Just the things that I've mentioned are the most important things to know. Right below this is the feedback drop down. I'm going to collapse everything else, so just the feedback is open. And you can see, you can set feedback comments is the default option, so you can comment on your students' work as they submit it. You can leave voice recordings if you'd like to. So that's feedback. If you go to a submission settings, you can set how many attempts a student will get to submit an assignment. Like if they fail it the first time, but they want to make up for it, you can manually open new attempts, or you can set it to automatically reopen. You can set these maximum attempts to however many attempts a student can get. So that's nifty. Group submission settings is obviously for group work, and you can assign groups elsewhere in Moodle, and maybe that's a topic for another video. You can set, probably the next thing you're going to want to touch is the grade option. You can assign how many points it's going to be worth. And if you set up your grade categories in Moodle, you can select where that's going to be categorized. So for example, I've got my category set up here. So let's say I want to make this a classwork assignment, and I only want to make it worth 10 points. Okay. You have some other grading options like blind grading. But really, that's how you make an assignment. And if you want the students to download files, you can have them. You can add files for them to download up in this middle section up here where the big blue arrow is. You can just drag and drop files into there. But let's just save and return to the course, and we'll show you a couple other things. Okay, so I'm hitting save right now. Oh, it's getting mad at me because I didn't name the assignment. It's probably because I refreshed the page a minute ago. So I'm just going to type in description here. Okay, so everything's filled in. Now I'm going to save and return to course. And you can see here, here's my assignment. It shows up where I just added it. Now the cool thing is if you add something in the wrong spot accidentally, like I just did, that was supposed to go in August 28th, you can actually just drag the assignment using this little arrow button. Excuse me. And you can drag it down to the week you want it listed under. Okay, so you do that by just dragging this button. And that's basically how you add an assignment. Now let's say you want the students to be able to view some online content. You can do that using one of two options. You can either just add a URL to Moodle, which will be a link that will take them to a website, or you can get really creative and embed stuff into Moodle as a page. And there are advantages and disadvantages to both of those. I'm just going to show you how to add a basic URL because that's probably something you're going to want to learn. So let's say that I want to go on to, let's say I want to go on to like CNN, and I want my students to read a news article. So what you can do, if you just want to link a Moodle URL to CNN, you could, first of all, you would go to CNN.com, you'd copy that address, so it's www.cnn.com, and you'd go back to Moodle and you'd say, okay, I want to add a resource, let's add a URL, and you could put the name of what you want them to look at, so we could say, oh, this is CNN homepage, and then you could describe it, you could say, this is the home page of CNN. And you can make that description as fancy as you want it to. We could click, okay, we're going to display this description, and then you can paste the URL right here. Now, the cool thing now is that if we just left it like this and click save and return to course, whenever students click on the URL, it's basically going to take them to CNN's site, which might not be a good thing if you want them to stay in Moodle. Because sometimes websites will have advertisements that pop up and distract students from their work. So what I always like to do is change the appearance settings to embed the site rather than to take them to it. Okay? And you can change the size of the embedded window. But let's just take a look at what that's going to look like. So I've embedded CNN.com. I've got my description, my name. We hit save and display. And you can see the window I said is very small, and so you'll remember those dimensions that you can mess around with on the previous page. Oh, now it's bigger. Okay, so just needed some time to update. So we've embedded CNN into Moodle. You'll notice students don't even have to leave Moodle to go look at whatever news article you want them to read. Okay, so that's one thing you can do. You can do this with YouTube videos, really anything. But like I said, choosing the URL option doesn't strip advertisements. You can see here's some advertisement from Sam's Club, and here's one up here from Home Depot, which can be very distracting to students. So what I always like to do, if I'm adding a website or a page, I like to go another route, and I want to show you that real fast. So I'm going to go back to the course, and I'm going to add a page this time. I'm going to show you what you can do with YouTube videos. So let's say that I'm on YouTube and I find a really cool video about plate tectonics. Okay, so here's plate tectonics.
So we know that the driving,
and you'll see that underneath every YouTube video there's a button called share, and if we click share, you'll see some options pop up. Okay, we've got share, which is just displays the web address for the video you're watching. But I always like to embed videos. So when I click embed, you can just copy the text that becomes highlighted, and you can paste that into Moodle. So here's how I do it. Instead of adding a URL, let's add a page this time. And you can make a description. You could call this plate tectonics. You could do the description right here. And then here's the actual content of the page that you want displayed. Now, embedded code, like the one we just copied from YouTube, that's HTML code. And so if I just pasted that straight onto the page content, that's code. No student's going to understand that. So we want to make sure that this HTML code goes in its proper place. So this little button right here with the carrots facing like this, this is where HTML source code goes. So I'm going to paste my code in there. You'll notice when I update it, oh look, the video is now embedded into Moodle, which is really great. And once again, you can change the sizing on that. But let's take a look at how big it turns out. I'm going to hit save and display. And you can see it's pretty small, but you can always zoom into that or change the dimensions in the source code for that. So that's basically how you get online content to appear inside of Moodle without the students ever even having to leave. Okay. Let's go back to the course. I'm almost finished with what I wanted to show you today. Just some other things you might want to be aware of. You can add just individual files, like if you have a PowerPoint that you want students to download, you can add it as a file. You can even make your own textbook if you have the time to do that. and you would just basically paste in the materials you want the students to read. It can be a digital textbook too, where they can watch videos and listen to recordings. And here's another one of my favorite activities. You can add lessons, which are basically like almost like slideshows that take students through printed material or videos, and you can follow up certain slides with follow-up questions to make sure the students are actually watching your lessons. And if you have any questions on how to do that, that'd probably be best for another video. So let's go back to our course. And you can see this is basically how you use Moodle. It's not that tough. Once you're done and once you're done with editing a page and you want to see how it looks to the students, one other nifty function down here on the left-hand side of the page, there's this little link that says switch role to, and you can click students. And when you do that, you're going to see exactly what the student's going to see. Okay. Another thing that I should point out, let's say that you've got your whole term planned out, and you don't want your students seeing things from the very end of the course, because you don't want them jumping ahead. Okay. Well, you can hide materials so that the only ones they can access are the ones you give them permission to. You see this little eyeball right here where my mouse is hovering over. You click that little eyeball, you notice it faded, and so that means that that's hidden from the student's view and only you can see that. And you can actually do that with individual assignments too. If I click on edit next to this URL, I can hide it and students will not be able to see that. Okay? So really, Moodle is a great tool for getting ahead in your lesson plans and really mapping out exactly what you want the students to complete and view in class and outside of class. I did forget to go over the quiz option, because online assessments are a necessary part of any online course. So if I click on add activity and I just scroll down to quiz, let's say I want the students to take the cell energy quiz. Okay, and I could say, please take this quiz. If I could type today. Okay, and you can set the timing for the quiz. If there's a time limit, if there's a certain number of attempts that they're allowed, you can change that within these settings down here. Here's where the grade will be categorized, how many attempts the students have. And you can change even how the questions behave. The default setting is that the answers will be shuffled within any multiple choice quiz, which is nice. But let's go ahead and save this, because once you save the settings for the quiz, you'll see now we can actually edit the quiz up here. So save your quiz and then click edit quiz, and then here's where you can actually start to add questions. And the way you add questions is by going up here to the corner of the screen that says add. When I click that, you can add a random question, a question from a test bank. So that's how you add questions into your Moodle quiz. Once you do that, it's going to prompt you to, first of all, type the question into the page, type your answers in, and then select the right answer. And then once you save all your changes, the students will now have an electronic quiz that they don't need to take on paper. Okay. All right, so that is in a nutshell how you organize courses in Moodle. Other cool features, if you go back to your My Courses page, you'll see there's a calendar over here on the right side of the screen. When you click that calendar, you can see when certain assignments are due, which is helpful in helping the students kind of get organized to the online feel of classes. Really cool. The other thing that I wanted to mention before I shut this down, you can create a bio or a profile where students can come visit and learn more about the class or get contact information from you. That is right here on the left side of the screen. It says My Profile under this little navigation tab. So if I click on My Profile and View Profile, I can see I've got a bio here with my picture and contact information. All right. If you have any questions about how to use Moodle, feel free to get in contact with me if possible. And good luck in building your Moodle course. Thanks. We'll see you next time.